Hi, David BRIDGEFORTH here. I want to talk to you about something. Recently, and I haven't done a video in a while, for reasons. I've been very busy creating something monumental with my life. And as I talk about in my speeches and talk to people about being in the space of creating something significant with your gifts, talents, and ability, and I've been working on that. But recently, as I've been creating and living my dreams and contributing something meaningful to the world, I began to gain some haters and people who didn't like me, and people who didn't approve of me, and people who didn't support me, and people who talked about me and gossiped and lied and were disloyal. And I've learned several things that I want to share with you. First of all, I want to say this. First off, you must realize that no matter what comes into your life, what situation, what circumstance comes in your life, what experience comes into your life, that will challenge you, you must realize that somehow in your life, before that situation or circumstance, the lesson, wisdom, information, and truth has been told to you about how to deal with that situation or circumstance before it comes into your life. So when these haters started to come in my life, I was shocked. But what I realized, just like I said, the information, the wisdom on how to deal with it already has come, if you're conscious enough to receive it and to internalize it. And so last year, I was with Maya Angelou at her home, North Carolina, and we talked for hours. And she said to me, she said, "You, Mr. BRIDGEFORTH, you are better than you think you are, and greater than you ever can imagine yourself becoming." I stepped back and said, "Wow." She said, "Yes, you, and those like you, those black, those human, those male, those young, anyone that is similar in any way to you, they're better than they think they are." And I wrote it down. I said, "Thank you." And we went on talking for another hour or so. After we talked and had coffee, I went on a tour of her home, and we were in the sculpture garden, Les Brown and I. And Mrs. Chris, the housekeeper, came and got me, and she said, "Mr. BRIDGEFORTH, Dr. Angela wants to see you alone." And they took me back up in the house and up to the kitchen, and she stood. She said, "Mr. BRIDGEFORTH," she always calls the full name. She says, "David BRIDGEFORTH, darling, come sit." And I said, and she said, she was talking about my poetry and that I need to be published and some things of that nature. And she said, "Do you remember what I said to you earlier about you being better than you think?" I said, "Yes, ma'am." She said, "You are better than you think you are, and greater than you ever can imagine yourself becoming." And then she said this. She said, "And because of that, people will peck you like ducks. They'll take a piece of your nostril, a piece of your earlobe, a piece of your lip, they'll peck at you, hoping that you don't notice. And they peck at you," she said, "because they don't have enough courage to come out and kill you." And I said, "Yes, ma'am," and I'm writing this down. And she says, what you are to realize and to know is that you're not in that, Mr. BRIDGEFORTH. You are not in that. That has nothing to do with you. And I wrote that down. I said, "You are not in that." I wrote it down. Fast forward to a year later. Never had anybody not like me, or they might not have liked me, but I've never had them voice their opinion or gossip or lie, or never had a problem with friends being disloyal. And I come into my life and people don't like me all of a sudden for whatever reason. And I'm reminded all of a sudden what Maya Angelou said to me that I wrote down and I meditated on. And what I realized is that I'm not in that. That has nothing to do with me. And I'm better than I think that I am. And that I cannot control the words that are said about me. I can't control it because I realize that when people hate you, hate is an extension from fear. There's only one thing that exists is love. And the opposite of love isn't hate. The opposite of love, ladies and gentlemen, is fear. And if you know who you are, and furthermore, if you know whose you are, there is no way that you can hate. If you are a child of God and God is love, and you are an extension of God, and you live your life in a space of love, and the opposite of love is fear, then anytime you're in fear of anything, you are in opposition of who you really are. You're in opposition of your greatness. You're in opposition of your divinity. And so when there's people in your life who hate you, that means they're afraid of you. And if they're afraid of you, they don't know who they are. And so when you look at people who talk about you, people who are jealous of you, they have not come into the understanding of the greatness, of the power that they are. And because they are not in the space of their greatness, the only thing they can do is to hate and dislike and talk about you. And so what I say to people right now who are watching, I don't know who you are, I don't know where you are, but what I know this, you're better than you think you are. And you're greater than you ever can imagine yourself becoming. And because of that, people will peck you like ducks. But what you must realize is that you're not in that. That has nothing to do with you. That if you stay in the space of creating something meaningful with your life, if you begin to produce something that is a major contribution to humanity, if you stay in the space of loving yourself and loving the people around you, they cannot touch you. You are invincible. You're impervious. You're bigger than they think. You're bigger than you know. And if you stay in that space, ladies and gentlemen, the haters will talk. They can gossip. What you do is you smile and you stand in the power of who you are. Stand up and be the man, the woman, the person that you were created to be. This has been David Bridgeforth. Plump, please, and pleasure. I hope you love the video. Spread it. Love yourself. Know exactly who you are.